Good evening, friends. On the eve of Halloween, I hope everybody's well. I just wanted to say a couple things today before the end of October. Just some things on my mind. It just appears and seems like Christians sometimes, I'm watching Facebook posts and hearing people out in the workplace and I'm referring to Christians, the redeemed people of the Lord. And it seems to me like sometimes if we don't watch it, we can have a political hermeneutic instead of a biblical hermeneutic. And a hermeneutic is just like just the way you study something and the lens of how you see things through. We usually attribute it to the Bible, but I'm just attributing it to life now instead of having a biblical hermeneutic, because there's different ways, there's different hermeneutics of how people look at the Bible. And then that's why we have various opinions. So I'm saying you can have a political hermeneutic even as a Christian. And I guess what I'm saying is, if you look on your Facebook post and there's more political posts than there is posts about Jesus, then you probably look through the lens of a political hermeneutic in your life. It probably guides your life. And we don't want to think of it like that. But that's just the honest truth if we'll take a look at it. If all we're talking about at work, on our time off, or in a break, or at home, if all we're talking about is politics and we're Christians, that's not good. Instead of reading the scripture or listening to the scripture on an app or listening to a sermon, if we're listening to Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, wanting to know where the next political rally is, then that tells a lot about your heart. I'm not going to sit here and try to debate, anything else on that. I'm just being honest. I'm not going to say you're not saved. I'm not here to do that. But I am here to say, we Christians, we're looking to politics to save America. And Christ said to go out and proclaim his name. The proclamation, the Caruso Evangelion, to preach the gospel, proclaim the gospel. And they said, how can the people hear if there's not a preacher? This is in Romans. How can there be a preacher unless he's sent? Folks, that's all of us. It ain't just your pastor. It's you. It's me. It's how we talk and we react when we're in conversations with individuals. It's how we talk and react on Facebook. The gospel is a gift that was imparted and given to us. And we receive salvation and the forgiveness of sins through Christ when he died on the cross. And if we understand what a precious gift that is and how it changed our lives, and I hope it changed your life. I was changed August 24th, 1999. I wasn't looking for the Lord. He found me. Matter of fact, I tried to keep on running that night, and I couldn't do it. I knew I was a sinner. He was running after me. And I finally just surrendered. It was the greatest decision I ever made. Folks, that's what we need to be telling people. Not that your political candidate is going to save this world, but that Jesus Christ can save you from your sin. Not that he can give you a better life. Not that you can live the American dream. Not that your 401k is going to skyrocket. Not that you're going to have the latest clothes, the biggest house, or the nicest car. If you happen to enjoy all those things, hey, that's great. But that's not what Jesus promised to give you. Matter of fact, he said trials and tribulations are going to come when you preach his name. If you go out and proclaim his name, you're going to make darkness angry. But light, real light, will always dispel the darkness. Jesus told us to be salt of the earth. And if the salt has lost its saltiness, he said, what good are you? What worth do we have? You're saying, Rhodes, what's this have to do? I'm saying we need to get back to looking at life with a biblical hermeneutic. Preach the gospel. Love your neighbor. Yes, as good Americans, we go vote. We leave it at that. Encourage people to vote. Don't slander them if they didn't vote for your candidate. I mean, I voted early. If you haven't voted early, I encourage you to vote on Tuesday. Because that's what we should do as faithful Americans. But folks, if we're Christians, we have to realize Jesus Christ is the only hope for people. This nation, all other nations, it's going to fall by the wayside one day. The new heaven and the new earth will take over and Christ will reign. There will be no America, there will be no Russia, there will be no China, there will be no Australia, Europe, so on and so on. We'll just be one world under the reign of Christ. And folks, if our faith, if our actions, if our words, if our deeds are tied up in this world, it's going to burn. This world's going to fade away. He said his word would never pass away. And that's what we need to be living, in his word, and let his word live through us. I don't know what else to say. I just see the days coming that it's going to get dark, and it ain't because a certain presidential candidate got in and our guy didn't get in. It's going to be because Christian people are allowing darkness to rule, and we're joining them. We encourage people to vote for a particular guy, your guy, before we encourage them to know Christ. So folks, we all need to do some soul searching. We all need to do some repenting. Not just as a nation, but as individuals. I know people don't want to hear that. That's the truth. Lay that worldly stuff down. I know there'll be some that want to debate with me, and that's fine. I know what I believe. I know why I believe it. I can back up everything that I'm saying, and and I talk to people all the time in real life, not just on here, and we have good talks. Sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't. That's fine. But I'm telling you, folks, right now, it's still kind of cool to be a Christian. And I've said this before. It's going to come a time it ain't. And God's going to separate the wheat from the tares and the sheep from the goats. And we need to make sure right now where we stand. I ain't standing with Biden. I ain't standing with Trump. I ain't standing with Kanye West or anybody else on that ballot. I'm standing with Christ. And that's where I hope we all are. I hope we've all died to Him. And I hope that we walk in the newness of life each day. That we die to ourselves and our desires, and we walk according to Him. And before I go, I just want to remind you this is in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I can't remember exactly which verse, but one of the disciples, when they figured out that Jesus was the Christ, one of the questions, and I'll paraphrase it, they asked him, he goes, are we going to basically rise up against Rome and take our nation back right now? Because the Jews are waiting on that Messiah to come back and to make them God's people again. And it didn't come the way they wanted it to in the form of Christ. And they was looking for a Messiah to come back then and to rule and reign right then. Kind of like now in America. We're looking for a Messiah to rule and reign from the White House. Jesus Christ is coming back. And every day is one day closer. We can all say, well, it's soon. I don't know when it'll be, but I know every day it's a day closer. He's coming back to gather up His saints and let the new heaven and the new earth come down. Are you ready? Are you looking for that day? Don't look to Washington. Look for the eastern sky, because it's about to split open, and Jesus Christ Himself will ride down on a white horse, put His foot on the Mount of Olives, cause an earthquake. It'll blow open the eastern gate there in Jerusalem, and He'll walk through in triumph victory. That's what I'm waiting for. It's coming, and I pray that you're ready. Let's do some soul searching today, tomorrow, and let's go to church, Christians, Sunday. Let's do some repenting and some praising. Till next time, I love you.